Hello, Thanik here with another ranked replay cast, this time featuring popsursocks, JM, Classy, and Hexapus. As you can see, we are on Ceres, and this should be a good matchup. This map isn't the most generous Ceres map in the world. Lots of areas along the sides that are not usable. We do have expansives, scavengers, scientists, and elites. I haven't really seen an elite and or scientist spot here. What do we have for carbon? We do have a interesting scavenger found area over here. Not sure whether you want to find in or outside of the crater. There are any spots to fit expansive over by the iron? No, not really. Where is all the aluminum? The other side of the map, and then some over here in the middle. We do have popsursocks going. Oh, scavenger spot over here that I missed. Oh, that's very nice. I like that. That's a very good found. Yeah, I'm founding up in the aluminum. They do have that iron up here, so that's actually not that bad of an expansive found. Hexapus does manage to sneak in a scientist over here next to water, going to long distance ship some of this steel. I suppose there are no pirates or magnetic storms, so that makes things a little bit easier. And then use core samples to get some more water, I would be my guess. Classy still hasn't decided what they're going to do in this game, and yeah, that's kind of where you're looking at. Not very many other good spots to found. 2 iron, maybe core sample another on top of this water. Decent water patch though, so that core sample actually makes this better than it would first initially look. And you got that aluminum not too far away. popsursocks is HQ2, already going into some water up here. Good found. Can't believe I didn't notice that while scanning over the map. We do have people purchasing bribe claims. JM has upgraded HQ2. They are shipping in some metal from this metal mine, going into a pair of steel mills. And iron's expensive, so you might not actually want to go into those steel mills right away. Just sell down this iron. You're the only one using iron. Everyone else is going to be going straight up from steel mills, with the scientists using it straight from the steel mills, I should say. Hexapus selling down some of that uranium. Probably will transition into a nuclear plant when it gets more expensive. Classy over here is in 2 steel mills, 1 greenhouse farm, 1 metal mine. Still needs an additional 2k to get to the upgrade. Most of that in aluminum and steel. So falling behind a little bit, 2 HQs behind popsursocks, who is the current leader, which is what you want to be in a scavenger on the series, and late game factions like scientists and expansives. What do we have going on? JM actually has a decent cash pile going in now, going into some nuclear plants. It needs 14k for the upgrade, has 12. Hexapus over here struggling a little bit, 18k for the upgrade, has 5, going into a bunch of food. And then a single nuclear plant, along with 2
land is available for option.
2 low metal mines. Instead of grabbing this high. That's curious. Not the most efficient use of claims right there. No carbon core samples out from anyone just yet. Tile auction 1 for 18k seems a little bit low on this series. Classy is preparing to move into something here with this goon tile, moving into some more greenhouse farms. Greenhouse farms do have $41 in profits individually, so electrolysis reactors may have been a little bit better. Going into nuclear plants very, very slowly. I'm thinking, yeah. Start your first one underneath the goon, then go to the ungooned one. Let's check in popsursocks. They are going into solar panels for their power considerations. Solar panels, unfortunately, are underpowered on Ceres, as they get a decrease in their maximum power, and that really needs to be normalized so they can be competitive. It's really, nuclear plants are the way to go. There's almost no reason to go for solar unless you like popsursocks and there is no uranium on your side of the map. And even then, they are subpar on the current patch compared to nuclear plants. Hexapus does get to HQ3. as does JM, but Popular Socks is HQ4. So let's go check on and see what everyone is doing. Popular Socks, still 3 claims, hasn't decided what to do with them yet. Hexapus over here, 4 claims, doesn't know what to do with them yet. Going into some metal mines, some water pumps, must have core sampled out, yes. Core sampled out that water, so good job there for Hexapus. I do want to see Classy use a core sample here sometime in the future just to fix this iron problem. Not a huge fan of going for the single nuclear plant when power is so expensive at $100 and with so little debt. You could pay through a lot of your debt and make some power money there. Let's check in on JM with 2 nuclear plants going into a single greenhouse farm. I don't like to see that. And a single electrolysis reactor. JM, if you do happen to watch this video, make sure that you watch this cast. Don't go into single production buildings. You always want them in pairs. It'd be better to have 2 electrolysis reactors or 2 greenhouse farms to get that adjacency bonus rather than having single tiles. There's almost no reason to do this. I say almost because there is, every once in a while, a valid exception, and usually if you're a robot. Popular Socks going into those triple solar panels didn't really make much of a dent in their debt at all, moving into some water. We do have underground nukes here, which is something that Popular Socks is going to have to be worried about going into the late game as a scavenger. Scavengers do not face diminishing resources on the Ceres or Io, but underground nukes can eliminate that advantage. High iron tile is going for more than the claim that was auctioned earlier, and that's probably 36 is probably a little bit on the high side for that tile, although as I say that I do notice that iron is at $100, and JM had very little debt, so perhaps it was alright. If they can sell down that iron and make some good money there, then I suppose they will be okay. Multiple patent labs coming out. Hexapus building a patent lab. Classy building a patent lab. Classy catching up to Hexapus in terms of cash on hand. Actually has about the same amount of cash on hand as Hexapus does. And we have the circuit overload on the solar panels just as nightfall comes. Probably wanted to hold off onto that circuit overload a little bit longer, but then again, the power is almost dead. Popular Socks also in the patent lab goes for liquid batteries, which actually makes the solar panels work 100% of the time, but once again, power is so low. Also makes solar condensers work during the night, but Popular Socks is going for the water pumps instead. Classy going for transparent aluminum. Wants to make that upgrade easier.
A scavenger HQ has been
Gets transparent aluminum. Going into the liquid batteries, but going to lose that race to Popular Socks. Hexapus lost the race to transparent aluminum. I believe it was what was queued up there. Now going into teleportation. Scientists with teleportation on Ceres can be a very dangerous thing. Nobody's in debt trouble. Everyone's done very well on their power. JM has upgraded HQ4. We're going to see what they decide to do with these extra claims. They do have extra iron coming in. They might want to sell down that iron just to get cash fast. They're going in for a third water in a line. Finally getting some pairs to the life support market. But life support isn't actually where it's at. Electronics is really, really good. You can grab some silicon here and just go straight into electronics for a while. Also, grabbing a carbon long term might not be a bad idea either. Where? Yeah, there is a carbon just to the north. Grab that one carbon, grab that one silicon, and then turn these underperforming farms into some electronics factories, and you'll be set. Because a colony, which is something we haven't looked at, is a machine colony. So there's that underground nuke on Popular Socks that I was talking about earlier. Hexapus going into a hacker array instead of taking the upgrade. HQ3, 2 levels behind Popular Socks, who's in the lead. Popular Socks has a lot of money.
New building is
He needs to do something with that money, and if I were Popular Socks, I'm looking potentially at Hexapus as a acquisition target, low amounts of money. We do have a thinking machines race between popsursocks and clasi, but clasi is going to win that race very easily. It reminds us to check the Offworld market. 43 profit launches, but Offworld $124,000 for our scientists, and expansive friends also 124 for the expansive. Oh, I'm sorry. Expansive has that half steal, so it's 83. So that actually might be worth it for JM to think about in the long run. 2 launches, and that just pays itself off, and then it's gravy after that, assuming you can keep it online. And considering that there are no dynamites, the only thing will be mutinies or slowdowns, or freezing. We have some more circuit overloads on this solar, getting taken out, freezes. Player correctly identifying that popsursocks is the issue, and they're looking to deal with it. Hexapus is hacking down carbon. I suppose Hexapus has gone into the electronics factories using aluminum as a free input, not selling it down to electronics, as nobody else is making electronics right now, and the price is rising. No, popsursocks is in electronics, but they were Rose. Mutinies back and forth on the patent labs, back to popsursocks. But that mutiny means, and scientist bonus means that clasi is going to win the slant drilling war, which will fix clasi's iron problem. Although it looks like they already solved that with a core sample. Perpetual motion, nanotech, and nanotech popsursocks. Unfortunately, no spies. The popsursocks can't see that both of the scientists are going for what they want, but does take away Hexapus's patent lab. Or sorry, clasi's patent lab. Anyway, Hexapus is still in HQ3 and hasn't upgraded, which is not a winning move. You do need to upgrade. Let's check in on JM. JM takes an upgrade. That's a risky upgrade. JM does have enough cash on hand to buy 2 of their shares, so probably will be okay, unless all the players decide to go into JM's stock at once. But it does look like Hexapus is finally going to upgrade HQ4. Clasi still needs 20k to get to. I'm sorry, has 20k, needs 70k to get the upgrade. A lot of that's in steel. First needs to defend themselves. As both JM and popsursocks are buying into clasi. Hexapus is just trying to keep popsursocks a little bit honest with that 1 share purchase. Clasi has the money to defend themselves.
A new claim is available for auction.
Just needed to sell down the resources and does get it. So that acquisition is no longer going to happen. Auction a claim gives players a break from the action, so we can check in and look at how our bases are going. Hexapus continuing to core sample out more water. JM has finally moved into the electronics market, so that's pretty good. Didn't grab any.
Congratulations.
It does have some silicon coming in, but that's shipping a lot further than here. Power's on the way up. It's like somebody's hacking power, perhaps. So that's going to benefit. Who does that benefit? JM with a 4.8 power, and Hexapus with 4.15 power. Hexapus going all in on power right now. Energy Vault for popsursocks from clasi's patent lab. Popsursocks in C debt now. Hexapus in 0 debt, making pure gravy from that power money along with the JM. Popsursocks decided that they're going to keep their cash in clasi. They think that clasi is a good acquisition target. And it's probably true. What JM just shouldn't be helping them out with this buy. JM needs to sell out of their stock and then probably target the other scientist, Hexapus.
A scientific HQ
Would
has
honestly
been upgraded.
be a good idea for them to do. Nice circuit overload by JM on Hexapus, knocking out a good chunk of that power. And I'm not sure who did that circuit overload there. Anyway, multiple circuit overloads here on Hexapus, meaning Hexapus actually isn't making any more power money.
Scientific HQ has
JM
been upgraded.
is making power money and is going for split focus, which you don't want to do that. And it's better just to hold on to cash than to buy shares into everybody. We only have 2 optimization centers out on the board, which is surprising given how many prices are above $100. popsursocks has 3 optimizations into the electronics, and they're both making $264 per tile. That's pretty good. And then the Hexapus, sorry, Classi's the other one with optimizations and has a bunch of them just spread out everywhere. Power continues to go up and down as our players, some of our players have been forced into solar. popsursocks here going into a moon Offworld.
Available to the highest bidder.
And it's on a carbon, which means nukes can be used to bounce this. So a scientist here trying to get that carbon could nuke it. If you have a nuke onto Hexapus's metal mine, that was from Classy. Power surge coming out onto popsursocks. Electronics there. How much is this Offworld market for popsursocks? Still pretty expensive. It's going to be a little bit less than that sticker price there. But how many launches is it going to take? Launching the wrong thing too. See JM over here. If JM sold out of Classy, they could have bought into Hexapus, and I think that would have been a good bet for them. I'm not sure that they would actually beat Hexapus in a straight up race to buy the other one out, as Hexapus is finally moving into optimization centers, and JM does not have any optimization centers whatsoever. And JM's floating way too many resources, not auto-selling resources that other players are producing. Which is one of those things that rules of thumb that you do want to follow in an FFA, when other players are in a market that you're in, auto-sell your stockpile as it comes in. That way you are not giving them a boosted price and allowing popsursocks to profit off of these electronics, if they weren't frozen. I think Hexapus doesn't have electronics. But anyway, given that JM has pretty much everything not auto-selling, I don't think that was a planned strategy, it was just what happened. But popsursocks in D levels of debt. These circuit overloads on these undefended solar panels are doing great work. So they've been off a very long time. The Offworld market is finally launching, still launching the wrong thing. It needs to be launching food, 51k profit versus 45k profit there. About 3 launches for popsursocks to pay off. JM's going into an Offworld, and JM's the one whose Offworld made more sense. $132,000 to put that up instead of a much more expensive Offworld. And then JM also not defending their stock. This is allowing Hexapus to buy it at full price. Classy over here is just sitting here on a large cash pile of money. $200,000, the largest out of any player. And it hasn't decided to go into any acquisition targets just yet. Has been running 2 optimization centers. Those optimization centers are doing quite well. A handful of optimizations everywhere. We should check in on the optimizations as we take a look at all of our players' bases here. popsursocks not quite the number that Classy has. Hexapus has 3 optimization centers right now, but very far behind on total optimization count. One of those is a
Our
mutiny.
methods continue to improve.
And then Jam over here with no optimizations, which is definitely something that you'd like to see in a Ceres game, especially optimizing some of this water here. Purchasing 3 water a second off of the market, not something that you want to be doing. Look at that, all of these profitable buildings here are being shut down, especially those nuclear plants, and some of these could be rotated out of into more profitable items like electrolysis into glass, or food into glass. It's kind of hard to outcompete in the food market against the scientists who can pull the water straight up using science from ice when you're in Expanse and you are buying water off the market. We do have clasi here, coming at 64% of the buy on a popsursocks, but hexapus also 67% of the buy on clasi, but not looking for that, looking to go into Jam. Jam did purchase their own stock there. The hexapus making a massive comeback here in the late game in terms of cash on hand. Clasi also doing a decent job as well. Popsursocks had to pay down a lot of debt manually, I would assume, been suffering from this constant black market attack. Does have 800 water here in stock, keeping water high. So JM's just feeding that water profit straight into popsursocks' hand as soon as it gets sold, but we have a very, very close race between clasi and popsursocks. It's going to be optimizations versus optimizations and a Offworld. It's all going to come down to Offworld timings, I'd have to say.
Our methods continue to improve.
Unfortunately for JM, they have too much of their money parked in too many places, so hexapus is going to get the buy on them quite easily, and they don't have any optimizations. So something to fix in the late game, hexapus going to get the buy momentarily. Question will be clasi versus popsursocks. This buy that hexapus is going to get is going to set him up in a great position with 2 shares in both popsursocks and clasi. Once it finally goes through, 89 versus 88% for clasi versus popsursocks. What does the launch look like? The launch hasn't happened. 91%. 86%. Popsursocks might want to have that last launch going. If that launch timing goes through, could win them the game. Here comes a power surge down from popsursocks, and hexapus does take out Jam as anticipated. But we have 91% versus 93% here. Auction, tile, 40% entertainment over here for Pleasure Dome. Power's pretty low, so that's actually pretty nice. So we'll just have to see what's going to happen in this race. Is this freeze enough to tip popsursocks over the edge? Popsursocks did restart up that Offworld launch with food. That's 54 seconds. I don't know if they can live 54 seconds. And then a freeze of clasi's own coming right back onto popsursocks tiles. But this launch had been going on already and hadn't been stopped for a while. Popsursocks may very well have already guaranteed themselves the buy. That being said, it's very, very close. Hexapus nuking out popsursocks. Not sure that Hexapus really cares who wins out of these 2 players, but I guess nuking number 1 hurts either one of them in the long run. Hexapus just sitting here on a large pile of money. Popsursocks looks like they're just going to get it. They just need to realize that they need to sell everything out, and they do pick up the buy just at the last minute. So it's popsursocks versus hexapus. Popsursocks with an Offworld, with some optimizations, with a science sub with a lot of optimizations, but hexapus with a Offworld sub and expansive for far longer. So hexapus making more money off that sub and already has stock in popsursocks, so it does look like Hexapus will have navigated this game into a victory 45-46% of the way to the buy. popsursocks 8% there. Very good comeback for Hexapus, being 2 HQs behind popsursocks there. Now Hexapus is just going to sell out of the shares to try and finish this up faster. And we're going to go from normal speed to fast here, because it does look like Hexapus has taken it in this FFA on the Ceres. 95, 100% of the buy. And we do get that purchase. Hexapus winning the game. Anyway, let's take a look at the charts and graphs. JM making a decent amount of power. popsursocks really killing that electronics market. Hexapus in that glass market. I did not notice the glass. Where's Hexapus making all that glass from? Teleportation scientist, man. Very, very, very powerful. 311 in chemicals for clasi. Winner Hexapus versus second place popsursocks. What did the balance sheet look like in terms of Offworld? Only $300,000 in Offworld for popsursocks. popsursocks actually did make a profit off that Offworld, but JM's Offworld was a little bit too late, and Hexapus almost made the same amount as JM off of the much less expensive Pleasure Dome. So do keep that in mind when you're conducting these games on the Ceres. Think really carefully about going into a Offworld, as Ceres Offworlds are always really expensive. If you enjoyed this replay cast, hit that like button, subscribe, or leave a message in the comments. Phil Authentic signing out.